back. I'm really sorry about that, guys. I don't know why my internet went out, but we're good. Sorry.
It happens.
Gotta reorder everybody now, because everybody's order is different.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
I'm the goblin child now.
Hey, Grimly,
Who
wanna
was
know
I? I
something
think I
fun,
was
though?
Zion.
Hey, V, you wanna know something fun?
Huh.
With Beacon of Hope, if you heal me, I automatically heal for max doubled HP.
Well, I feel like I'm going to be doing some healing in a bit soon, so...
Yay!
I have a question. I thought I was not full health, but I am.
You got healed.
You're welcome.
Thank you!
What can I say except you're welcome?
What can I say except you're welcome?
For the record, I had no way of
For healing
helping.
your
That
big
was not me.
badass.
Wow.
Okay.
What? She healed me.
Oh.
Have you seen how big I am? I'm bigger than the god.
Can't you just, like, eat him or something?
trying.
Swallow him.
I mean, he's taunted me to eat him. I managed to hit him with claw attacks. I haven't landed a bite yet.
It's a bad case of Cookie Crisp.
Well, from looking at the image, it's more like I'll be having fish sticks.
That's
I
accurate.
love that.
Actually, all I need to do is fly
Here,
up
you out
above
of
him and just
inspiration?
lightning breath down.
I think I have one left. You like
I
me,
saw
Sis?
Hellish
You look good.
dragon vor. You just
Wouldn't
look up
mind
though,
it.
but it's
I'd love
it's
to
just
hit him with another 300 HP attack.
it's a dragon with the legs of the god just kicking out of his mouth, like watching a cat holding a lizard.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like it's just like the snakes that just like unhinge their jaws. Just...
No, thank you.
Hey,
You've got the god, but his arms are out, so he's strangling you while you're trying to swallow him at the same time.
fantastic.
That's perfect.
Have I used 2 of my inspiration?
Yes.
I still have one.
Okay.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Pardon me. Yes, you've used 2 inspiration. Thank you.
Okay, I was just updating my sheet.
If you want to inspire
it's
your
still Larry's
BFF over here, I'd love to just smack him in the face with another 300 HP attack.
I'll think about it on my turn.
No.
He's gone to the back.
All right. I don't know where all those sneezes came from, but they can go away now.
Bless
Someone's
you.
talking about you.
What?
I know that's not how that works, but
Isn't it? No, isn't it your ears are ringing? That's when somebody's talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
you?
it is. It's just
And if you shudder, it's because somebody's walked over your grave.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say that and I shudder?
Ah!
I was about to say my grave is apparently under a freeway.
Shit.
No, you
So-
just have a minor.
I am
Never mind.
really sorry
My
about
brain
that,
just-
guys. Are we waiting for Larry to get back?
Yes, we're gonna wait for Mr. Larry to get back. Actually, he was gonna make a claw attack, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the initiative to do that for him.
I am so sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
All right, the claw attack. He has advantage thanks to Steve. So the claw attack hits,
I'm
and
not terribly useless. Time.
he is going to try to pin our big bastard. Now I need to beat that athletics check with Olmatech. There's a very real chance that I could fail this.
I heard that Olmatech was shredded.
Did not fail this.
Oh!
However, the claws still did do damage. So. You heard he had an 8-pack? No, you heard wrong. It was a 10-pack.
Oh
it's a
no!
12-pack.
The
You're
extra
right,
2 are
jeez.
drawn on with like dirt
Disgusting.
from his cave.
He has a 10-pack and those V muscles that come. So it just looks
Ooh,
like
the
somebody,
love handles.
it looks like somebody holding up a column. This just got weird. But it's all green, sickly fish looking.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, actually.
He is now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Grumpy,
Moving right along.
don't mention the Divinity Original Sin 2 elves to Jack. They will lose their shit.
Don't fucking say that near me. I will block you.
It's like being like you just invoke the name, and there it is.
Do you just like not like the character model or
Oh
what?
my god, the character creation model for the elves is
You
it's garbage.
Don't understand.
Hey! There's mods that fix it.
No,
Grumpy Cleric,
they didn't.
no, they do because Grumpy Cleric and I use them when we play Divinity.
Okay, anyway, back on track.
All right.
Back on track.
Yenfear.
No one needs 42 sets of abs. I agree.
I keep them in my closet on hangers. I got abs for all seasons.
All season abs. Okay.
Well seasoned, all season abs. They're just like got a nice Cajun rub on one of them.
I will say at the end of our Griffin friend's turn, I'm going to use a legendary action.
Okay. Well, our Griffin friend is back.
I still miss with the tail. Oh well.
He's got to get himself repositioned.
See, the funny thing is I need to roll a 7 to hit him.
Yeah, he only needs to roll a 5, I think, to hit you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Hold on a second here. Larry,
Clash of Titans.
you clawed him. Oh, I give his headset back on.
Yeah.
You successfully hit him with your claws, but as you tried to pin him to the ground, he shrugged off your attempt. His strength is higher than yours, so sorry, buddy.
Yeah, but I'm way more tenacious.
This is true. All right, Yenfear, it is your turn.
me. Okay.
I'm gonna pass along a momentary look to the blue dragon and just kind of give him a nod, like let's work together on this.
Okay. Who needs inspiration? Who has inspiration, by the way?
I have one.
Grimly has inspiration.
I'm good.
And who else?
Can hand one to the tank, maybe.
Nah. I'm
To the
gonna
hard
inspire. I'm gonna inspire Letty with the old "Go get him, baby."
All right. What else are you doing on your turn?
And I'm going to cast. Man, I would really like to use Finger of Death, but that's not gonna work.
Well, I mean, you did it already.
You tried earlier, anyways.
So I see.
You're welcome.
So I'm gonna try for Toll the Dead.
Toll the Dead. Toll the Dead.
Oh no, are you?
No.
Did
It's
I
a
not?
wisdom saving throw, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
this is getting better and better. Y'all are screwed.
Okay, that's a 24.
Yeah, that's
fuck
pretty
you.
good.
He needs to roll a 1 to fail.
I mean, he has a plus 14 to his wisdom saving throw. So. God, he's like.
Well, yeah, but I mean, a natural 1's still a natural
Well, I
1.
didn't know what his stats were. Okay, you know what?
He
Just
has
all y'all can eat my ass.
We've missed you too, honey. All right.
That'll be the new show on Mondays here with Dire Bear.
No.
No.
Grimly, it's your turn.
How?
But it is on my channel. Come on.
All my viewership goes to nothing.
Nope.
Just kidding. Come back.
Oh, so sorry,
Jack,
Cap.
who did you
but
inspire?
Gap, I'm producing, so
Letty, she
everybody's
inspired
going to
Inspired you.
Pornhub.
Okay, cool.
It's
Awesome.
okay.
Well, affiliation was nice while it lasted.
Yep.
Bye, everyone. Goodbye.
I'm so sorry.
Bye-bye.
We can't be
It comes,
anything more
it
than
goes.
who we are.
Yep.
Anyway,
which is a collection of reach arounds. On we go.
Oh Lord, Grimly.
How does he look tired at all?
Does he look?
Does the big man? How hurt does he look? I'm just curious. I have a spell that I'm waiting on.
He looks pretty hurt. Yes, grumpy cleric. Yes.
Does he look tired? Don't at me! Get out! I'm just gonna do this instead and wait. Damn.
Dexterity is
Safe.
okay.
Ooh!
I failed. I failed.
I would have
I had
failed
to
mine if you
roll, like,
didn't
minor
decide to not.
Okay, so how much damage did I take?
15.
He's not dead yet.
Fire and peace. Okay. You know what? I should have used what I thought I wanted to use. Okay. Never mind. I'm done.
Okay. At the end of your turn. He did not like that.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, yeah. You're not going to thank me in a second.
No, thank you.
28 to hit you.
Yeah. Can I
19
also
slashing
Wrath of the
damage.
Storm, though?
For flame strike?
Is
Yeah.
he attacking me with a weapon? Yay.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, but I'm just gonna take the damage.
Okay, roll me 2d8, and you're still going to take 19 slashing damage.
That's fine. Night. What?
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. You take 19 slashing damage, and as the blade digs into you, you call down the wrath of the storm upon him. The lightning splits the air and strikes him right in the top of the head.
Oh, I like that.
And that's the end of my description on how you end him. How would you like for it to look?
I think.
Baby.
I'm gonna.
I didn't expect this to be me. Okay.
I just wanted to drop another rock on him.
I'm just a little surprised. Grimly is just holding out his hands, hoping not to get hurt. He's.
Can you see like I went?
Stop! Please. I'm baby.
Baby.
You can't do that. I'm baby.
His form falls.
Kick your ass.
His form falls to dust, and like watching large chunks fall apart and land, you hear the sound of a loud clatter as the blade that he was using slams to the ground. The three relics pulse.
Getting audio dropouts. Damn.
As they pulse, Lithy, what are you doing?
Mick, what?
Twerking.
What am I doing?
Mhm.
Still there? No, he died.
His
He
form
dusted
is
away.
broken into pieces. He looks like chunks of ash rock that are laying there on the ground. But there's
Can
still pulsing light from the relics.
So I can still attack him.
Oof. Mm-mm.
Okay. Was just gonna do another rock attack, but I don't think I need to. Oh, for funsies, I might die, but let's do it.
You're dropping another rock on him?
Why not?
Okay, go for it. Okay, yeah, it falls out of the sky and slams into the form that was once Olmatech and is now a pile of ash and rock.
Cool.
Go ahead and give me a go ahead and roll damage.
Oh fuck! I wanted to move.
Okay.
I wanted to move here.
All of you who were feared are no longer feared.
And the reason I wanted to move there is because now I can do 100 d6 damage because it'll be 60 feet in the air.
Ah.
Wow.
Okay.
That is such a
The rock
strange
slams
formula.
down on top of the form, and you watch as a cloud of dust just billows out. Rock gets sent scattering everywhere. You're all covered in this ash. You're all covered from the ash hole.
Ew.
I need to make a con save.
Let's see.
Dusty.
I am getting some audio dropouts every once in a while.
No, Tuna's mic doesn't quite catch their voice until like 2 or 3 words into the sentence they're talking.
My mic
Okay.
is really bad. Sorry.
It's
What
not,
I asked
it's
is,
not your Discord. It's just Tuna's shitty mic.
it's me.
Well, I
It's
mean,
me.
it was entertaining. I mean, I had Hap just saying pulsing, 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 and again,
Because that's all I was saying.
that's it. Seemed hot to me, but okay.
What I asked was, do I need to make a con save?
Yes, you need to make a con save. You take one more level of exhaustion.
Ow.
Holy balls.
I need a nap. I need a nap.
Yeah. That'll kill you.
All right.
But
Getting
that is
there.
something I can address, though.
You have disadvantage on all abilities. Your speed is halved, and you have disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws now.
I sure do.
So be careful.
I combined did about 600 damage in 2 turns, though, so
Sure.
maybe a little worth it.
Hmm.
All right. With that being said, at the end of your turn, the lights continue to pulse. You watch as the ash and rock start to form, pull themselves in together.
Oh God, he's in my mouth.
Not anymore.
Ew.
Callista.
I'm going to invoke the second of my 3 wishes.
Okay. What would you like to wish for?
I wish for the destruction of the 3 relics that summoned Ulmatek to this plane of existence.
Okay, it was good to know y'all.
Oh.
So you wish those 3 relics to be destroyed?
Or at least, sorry, maybe not destroyed, to be shifted to another plane that is not this one.
Okay.
Okay, hand them over. I'm your huckleberry.
Can I specify which plane I want to send them?
Yeah.
Cool.
You word the spell, but you better
All right. So
give me your
here's-
final spell, your
here's
final
the-
wish.
No, this is my second wish. This is not my
I
final
mean,
wish.
I'm
This is my
saying the
second
final
wish.
wording. The
Yeah, okay.
final wording of the
final
wish.
wording is, I wish for the relics that have summoned Ulmatek to this plane of existence that are surrounding us here in this area to be sent to the plane of fire to be destroyed.
Okay. You finish casting the spell. As the spell finishes, you feel a gut-wrenching pull and tear inside of your own body. You take 52 points of damage.
Man, I am so glad Grimly healed me.
And all of the relics disappear. And as they do, you watch as the form that was taking place falls completely down to nothing. It is completely rendered and utterly destroyed. You are no longer in combat.
Me in the back crying. Is it over?
I immediately scoop up Grimly and just hug him.
Both of
Lay
you
down on the
slightly
ground and
covered
take a
in
nap.
ash.
Group hug.
And then while I'm holding Grimly, I also go to Yenfir and also hug him.
As you realize that your friends are safe, that the portent that you had been following, the scrying and everything else that led you to them was well in hand.
Well, good. Well, good. And the blue dragon is Shine. Is that how it's pronounced?
Zine.
Zine.
Okay.
That's the short of his name. His full name is Zynalgos.
Zynalgos is cool. So yeah, I'm check out Zine there, and this would be the blue dragon that had appeared back at the city, and
This is the
we'd
one
welcomed.
that you saw, that you had the contingency fly away with, and then escorted back.
Outstanding. All right. Well, I'm going to then make my rounds as a healer for everybody.
You hand out all of the healing that you have, the spells and the natural like lay on hands ability that you have.
That's right. Restorative touch and everything. So, and for those of you that knew him before, his outfit looks different.
He's got shields like all over his wings.
Yep. And he has a different rank stripe.
He is the trainer.
Yep.
Me as a player, I find that fascinating. Me as Callista, what?
Who's this guy?
Who the fuck is this? Is he gonna kill me?
Somebody gonna claim the big blue griffin? Real quick, I did want to give a shout out to our newest patron. Thank you so much, Dragon Master 1160. We see you. Want to thank you very much for believing in us and supporting us. It really means a lot to us. With that, Aj, as much as we hate to say adieu, we know that he is needed elsewhere, and this party has to deal with the fallout from what has happened.
Okay, Aj is going to basically give affectionate beak bumps to everybody he knows, give nods of confidence to everybody he doesn't, give you all the potions that he's got. And Larry is going to take Misty Lackey out to dinner for her birthday.
Aww.
Larry,
awesome.
Happy birthday.
Larry, it is an honor to know you, sir, and we want to thank you for gracing us with your presence. We really appreciate it. We love you to death, and for all of the guidance that you've given me and everything else. I can't thank you enough. You guys.
What can I say? I just think the world of y'all, and I've enjoyed all my adventures with you. And hopefully I'll see some of you at Gen Con.
I was this close, but unfortunately I couldn't make it this year, but I have plans to go next year.
I've got some pretty big industry announcements to make at Gen Con as far as role-playing games and licensing.
Well, we'll be keeping an eye out on that because I know you'll post it on your Twitter, so I'll be keeping an eye out for that.
You got it.
If you have not, you are missing out if you've never read a book by Mercedes Lackey, and you need to go check out the art of Larry Dixon. Larry's art goes back to my days of originally playing D&D, so. And I love him so.
You know, I got embarrassed at Origins. John Helfer, one of my editors, says, I dug into the archives and you were first published in gaming in 1977. And I'm looking out at the crowd and I'm going, no one here was born then.
I wasn't in the crowd. I wasn't in the crowd, but I was born then.
Well, there you go. Always happy to cater to your 3-year-old self.
That
So,
was one. But that was one.
screw all you guys. I'm going home.
Larry, give Misty our love, Larry. Thank you so much
Please
for
give
coming
her
in.
our love.
You have the fallen bones of an ancient god.
Well, I'm going to say peace attained.
The
Turn
blade
off my blade.
falls into the hilt. It goes dead, quiet. And the buzzing in your head stops.
It's good.
Now, what are you guys doing? And I'll start with Callista.
Give me 1 second. I'm just quickly fixing Zoom.
All
Those
right.
bones belong in a museum.
All right, then in that case, Arneth, other than hugging Yenfear and Grimly, is there anything else you'd like to do at this moment?
Check on Lethy.
Okay. Let's see.
Real
How are you?
rough.
Is she just like sitting on the ground?
He's laying down, like, half asleep.
Yeah, she can barely keep her eyes open. Looks like she's struggling really hard.
Her nose is bleeding real bad.
Yeah.
You did good. It's okay to take a nap if you need it.
Falls over.
Collapses. Thank you.
Just kind of just like scoop her up so she's not just laying out on the cold ground.
All right.
With a blue griffin.
You watch as he arcs away into the sky, returning back to Lanceport and his duties.
It's okay. It wasn't a fever dream this time.
This time.
I don't know how many fever dreams she's had about blue griffins.
I'll let you decide which 5, but 5 of you will get 10 HP back.
I'm okay.
I'm
We
good.
need to take it.
I'll take one.
Could I use Greater Restoration twice on Lethe to put her out to 1 exhaustion? Instead? Does it matter? No, I can't. I don't think I can use it at higher levels. Never mind.
You tried.
I tried! I can do it once!
I mean,
She's like, you're such a good dog, man.
Good puppy.
I may eat trash, but I'm not that kind of dog.
Callista's just gonna scoop those 25 pieces of jewelry into her bag.
Mm-hmm.
And not talk about them to anyone.
Nope. And then she is going to run over and throw her arms around her husband.
Okay.
Not the shoulder.
The blade is still laying there, by the way. The giant blade that he was using.
I've been put down. Can I touch it?
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch it. Just slap my hand on it.
I don't know. I think that
It's cold, and touching it makes your stomach roil. You feel a little bit nauseous,
Ooh.
but it doesn't have any other effect on you.
Yee.
It's like touching this is like,
Gross.
yeah, it's not pleasant.
It should.
A little metallic taste in your mouth now.
Hand off. Should we? Should
Did
this?
we want to check inside where he came from?
I mean, want
Well,
to know, should, yes.
Xenalgos, what are you doing?
Oh, he's already gone.
Into the room? Into the doors?
Yeah, he
Okay.
just, as everybody else was celebrating, he just turned and just in the doors, folding his wings in.
You all look up to see that Xenalgos is in the doorway. As you walk down the hallway, it is like black onyx. It's just this black onyx. That's kind of a double. Anyways, it's onyx stone, and you can see that it clicks underneath your gigantic talons. As you walk, it starts to become tacky, and then it starts to become sticky, and then it starts to kind of like mud-like, where your feet sink into it, and you realize that it's getting hard to walk down there. But something in the distance catches your eye, a glimmer of something. It seems to be about 100 feet away from you.
Okay.
And with every step, the ground becomes more and more difficult. Please give me a strength saving throw. No, sorry, strength check. Strength or athletics check.
Strength or athletics check. Okay. Let me double check stats and such.
Could I cast freedom of movement on him?
What's the range on it?
As a touch.
I mean, you can go after him. You can
We
try.
can launch you.
You
No, yeah.
break free and you start to move forward. You move about another 50 feet, and the ground is now, it's like sticky tar that's trying to hold you in.
Mm-hmm.
Strength
Don't go the
athletics
way
check.
of the dinosaurs, man.
Oh, yeah. You tear yourself free. And as you get to the end of the hallway, you can see what's glittering in front of you. Oceans of gems, mountains of gold and copper, a throne sitting there made out of gold. And sitting on it is a thin elf with white skin, like almost like old parchment. He sits there with his arms crossed and he looks at you. And he kind of gives you this like crooked smile and says, "You guys are here for the treasure, huh?"
God damn it.
That is possible.
You can have it if you want it. I'll let you take it.
Really?
Absolutely. I'm not going to fight you. You're a big blue dragon.
Indeed.
And look at me. I'm a scrawny elf. What can I do?
Are you?
Absolutely.
Doubt.
X to doubt.
And what catch would there be if you leave the room?
What catch would...
Yes.
No catch. You can have
Must
it all.
one be bound to this room?
Kind of a weird like thing. I mean, if you really want the treasure, you can have it. I mean, there are some caveats.
Which are?
You got to be an anchor.
For what?
A big god thing that was trapped.
It's dead.
Cool. Then I guess I can leave. And the treasure's all yours.
So no need to be an anchor then.
Guess not.
He'll lean down, eye level with the elf, with his big gold eye. Any other caveats?
Nope. Mm-mm.
The eye narrows. Really?
Can I make a request?
What?
Do you have a true polymorph spell?
One of the people who serve me does.
Cool. Can you take me to them?
Do you wish to name yourself as part of the treasure?
Does that mean you own me?
For now.
Yeah, see, I had a whole thing with a dragon once, and it wasn't really cool on my end. I mean, yeah, I got like really cool weapons and some spells and things like that, but he was really demanding. So, no thanks. And he kind of pushes off of the throne, And he walks forward to where you are and kind of like pushes at the air. He's like, oh, look at that. Hey, my hands go through.
So I suppose you don't wish to be polymorphed after all.
Well, I mean, not if you're going to claim me as part of the treasure. No, I'm not. It's not a good idea for me.
To move it, I have to.
What? Scritch, scritch, scritch.
He'll move over on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
He'll wrap one talon around the elf.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming with me.
But I don't want to come with you. Where are we going?
And he's going to plane shift. Take the elf and every last bit of the gold with him.
But $20, Leo.
All right. Where are you plane shifting to?
He's going back to his lair.
Okay. You, from outside, you hear this just says sound. And then you hear the sound of what sounds like a shower of metal raining down. Xenagos, you appear thousands of miles away where you were in the midst of your lair. And you drop your treasure. An elf. And a considerable amount that you could scoop with your wings and in your claws and that are attached to you.
Mm-hmm.
But not everything that was there.
Yep.
The sound of metal ringing down. You watch as the elf tries to duck from the hailstorm of gold coins that are showering down. Cool. Yay. I belong to another dragon.
No. You just needed to be willing in order to transport with me.
Oh. You don't want to claim me then?
Depends on how useful you are.
I'm not very useful at all. You should let me go right now.
Really?
My name is Lucky, and I'm not at all.
Oh. So you're the one who owns that bag.
Maybe. That depends. What happened to the bag? Good things or bad things?
He'll shift back into his human form. In front of the elf.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your friends are in possession of it, and have made some use out of the items that you have squandered away.
Excellent. I should really get that bag back. Who had the bag?
Excellent. Then we can go together.
Okay. Where are we going?
Back to Landsport after I've rested, and you've been seen to by one of my Archmagi.
Okay. And back at the temple, what are the rest of you doing?
Taking a nap and use
Yeah,
the boy's
so
arms.
Lithy's like sleeping there.
I'm just casually clinging to Arnett and just kind of having a small PTSD moment. And I'm reevaluating my choices in life silently.
I'll be bringing Callisto over to them. Hey, guys, we did a thing.
We're all
We
alive.
sure did.
Nobody died
Where
this
we
time.
made it. Yeah.
Surprisingly, no one died this time.
Yeah,
So
I like not dying. Should make a habit.
How are we gonna get back?
I imagine we can ask Callista real nice to remember Landsport. That worked at one point, right?
Should still work. I spent most of the time using Eldritch Blast, so I still have plenty of power left.
All right.
However, there is one thing that she wants to ask. And she looks at Grimly. She asks, "What do you want to be when you grow up?"
Oh.
I'm not crying, you're crying!
It's such a stupid answer. he wants to be as big as Arneth and Gillet when he grows up.
Callista is going to use her last wish. And she's going to say, "I wish that Grimly could be as big as Arneth and Gillet with the longevity of a half-orc." For the record,
This is
I
gonna
was
be
gonna
one
use
weird
it for
looking
me.
cop.
I was gonna use it for me, but I think this is better.
Like, am I gonna be as big as Half-Orc right now? I'm 5.
Well,
That's not fair.
you're not turning into a half-orc.
Just gonna grow up
That's
to be.
worse somehow,
You're just going to
okay?
be a giant fucking goblin.
No, just make Grimly a
It's-
hobgoblin.
No, it'll be a bugbear.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Same proportions. He's just massive.
Just tall boy.
Swole bugbear. What's up, bitches?
But that is what
Lord.
she uses her last wish for, is for Grimly.
As the words tumble from your mouth, you see there's a slight shift to Grimly. Once more, as though something were tearing at your inside, you take 45 points of damage.
Okay.
Not
I'm
Grimly,
unconscious.
Oh.
Callista.
I had 45 left. I'm on the ground.
Ah,
Well,
what
Oh,
just happened?
also, just in case, your strength is also a 3.
Me? Okay. I don't use those.
What is
Also,
strength even?
and give me one more thing. Give me a percent.
A percentile?
1d100. Okay, you're fine.
Oh, honey, don't choke.
She
Don't choke,
finishes.
honey.
Boom, and open your throat and don't choke.
I come back with more HP than I was down with.
You're like, is he big? Is he big?
Did it work?
Well,
He's
we
got,
don't
like,
know, but I
peach
guess we'll have to
fuzz.
see.
He's got like peach fuzz coming in.
Oh no, he's going through puberty.
No.
technically, I should.
I'm Grimly.
Right.
I'm Grimly.
Whoa,
Whoa, language, mister.
V, I'm sorry if that ruined your epilogue.
I had two in mind, and one's gone now.
Just imagine Lithy like wakes up and like looks over and she's like just goes back the fuck to sleep. Still tripping. She knows it.
So is he still small?
Am I still small? Do I just grow up later?
Yeah, no,
in
you're
life?
still small.
Okay.
The wording of the spell was specific so that it happens
Over time.
after a time.
Oh, okay.
He's
Never
just
mind.
Like already
a
checking
little-
himself like. Nope. Okay.
All right. How are you getting back to Landsport?
I don't know. I don't care about that right now.
What do you care
But I will. I had a thing I wanted to do.
Okay, go for it.
So I still have my ring from my totally not piece of shit father.
Mhm.
That is basically the only thing I own of his. But I'm gonna go up to Arnath even more, and
Just
Just
climb on him.
yeah, just perch on him like a cat.
She just wraps legs and arms around, just stares at him nose to nose.
Yep.
Just right nose to nose, staring at
Exactly.
each other.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. You're... Well, I think. Okay, I know this isn't usually my style, but considering we kind of sort of saved the world, kind of almost died there a couple of times, I think now is no better time than to ask you if you would like. Um,
Come
you
on,
know,
you can do it.
I mean, if you wanted to spend the rest of your time with me for the rest of your life, that would be great.
Why do I feel like I'm being proposed to?
This is exactly how it would go in real life.
It is so true.
I understand if you would rather go home and be with your mother, but you know, I just thought no better time than now to ask.
Arnath accidentally
Say
drops
no.
Liffy.
Ow!
Right on
Just
the
right
ice.
on the ice, just crack.
Oh.
That tailbone was a rental.
Literally. Literally.
Oh god, sorry, Liffy.
She's already asleep again. Gotta hope she doesn't have a concussion and falls asleep on it.
She fucking is out. She woke up in the shock of being dropped and immediately got knocked out.
Alright.
And I'm kind of holding this, like, very obvious ring up, like, very sheepishly.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I wanted to do that anyway. Yeah, I'd love to.
Really? Oh, okay. Great. And he'll just lean in and kiss him.
Make out.
Yay! Oh.
I'm all hot now.
Love.
Jeez.
Callista just leans her head against Gillet. That was beautiful, but I really do like the way I proposed better.
Okay, not everybody can be perfect, alright?
No, I mean,
Not everybody can wake up from dying and go, hey, you want to get married?
You didn't have to die.
Oh, that
Come
is
on,
really
remember?
Renfier's style.
Where's Zine?
Who cares?
No idea.
Wait, where is Zine?
I know,
I
I
think
don't
he
care
went
right
down that
now.
damn
No
hallway.
idea.
You know what?
Yenfei, you can't talk. Arnath is busy making out with you.
Okay, that's fine.
Too bad
Carry
true
on.
love makes Liffy sick and she takes 5 more HP.
Callista just like covers Grimly's eyes, like, no, there's no need to see this.
The door is open, and it leads down that way. But there's nothing shiny down that direction. There's nothing except a dark, empty hallway.
Should we put this ghost sword in the cave?
I was thinking perhaps dropping it to the bottom of the ocean.
That's frozen.
Hey, I can do that.
I'm pretty
feel that-
sure I can do enough fire damage that ice is not going to be frozen for very long.
You realize this isn't like an ocean; it's a lake.
You know what?
Giant frozen lake.
You know what we should do? We should transport this back to Landsport and hand it over to the Sky Wardens. And they can deal with it. And then it's not our problem.
Make
Or
some
the
kind of fish
Acadium.
martinis.
Yeah, Acadium belongs in a museum.
All right, who's picking it up?
I feel like they'd be well equipped.
Not it.
Did I do
Not
the
it.
smart thing and take Mage Hand? I did not.
Mage hand ain't lifting.
Can
this.
I try to pick it up?
You certainly
Last time I
can.
touched that, it gave me a gross feeling. That's what Grimly says, really quick.
Chaotic good, is that right?
Oh, honey, no.
Arneth.
No,
No!
neutral good.
Neutral good? Okay. It just makes you feel sick to your stomach. Like touching it it's like it just makes you feel gross.
Okay.
I start drawing the teleportation circle right in the middle of the platform. We just roll Lithy out of the way.
That is, and I love that mental image so goddamn much.
And then
Don't touch me, I'm a god.
I just bury her in
Okay,
blankets. I just bury her in blankets, tuck them in nice and tight, and then start drawing the teleportation circle to take us back to the Silken Sash.
Do you
Burrito
burrito
Lippy.
her?
Yes, absolutely, Lithy Burrito.
All right. What level is teleportation again?
Teleportation is a 5th level spell.
Okay. You finish casting the spell. Everybody steps into the circle, and you're all brought across this expanse. And you find yourself in the warm comfort of the Silken Sash.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm hungry.
First things first,
I
that sword needs to go to the Acadium.
Who's taking it?
Callista will go with Arneth, but she's got a cloak on and its hood is pulled up.
Arneth?
I'll help Arneth carry it if it's too big.
Don't.
I mean,
I don't think you should touch it.
Arneth can carry it, but it feels gross. And it's like, you don't want to hold on to it.
Poor Lithy try.
You can, but you don't want to. I mean, Lithy can try.
Lithy, no.
Let me do it. I just want
No, look at you.
All right.
I have it.
Oh,
I'm okay.
great.
I'm gonna go find my mom.
All right. You find Rose, who is surprised to see you, but embraces you and looks at you, and then like she does that thing where she hugs you and then pushes you away like at arm's length to look you up and down.
Mhm.
What did you get yourself into? You know what? It's okay. And she hugs you again.
What you should be asking is, what have we gotten ourselves out of?
Honestly. Well, I can honestly say I won't be doing what I got myself into again, I don't think. But there's a bright side.
What's that?
We have another son. Soon.
She narrows her eyes and then arches one eyebrow. What truly happened up there? Which one of you is pregnant?
Okay, that's not how that works. I feel like you should know that's not how that works.
Of course I do, but it was fun teasing you.
I'm like a tomato right now. No, I might have.
Am I going to be pulling in more favors to get rings made?
Yes, but not so urgent now.
She doesn't say anything. She just smiles at you. And you're used to seeing her smile. You're used to seeing her warmth. There's something that seems to be deeper than this one. You can see that the edges of her eyes are wet with happiness and joy as she embraces you once more. This time squeezing you so tightly that you're pretty sure she's going to squeeze the air out of your lung.
Fantastic.
She finally releases you and then takes your hand and she says, "Where is our?"
Just handling a bit of business. You should be back soon, hopefully.
He's like, you haven't even like made it down the staircase with the thing. Gung, 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 gung. That's them, isn't
Just
it?
ignore that. They're just handling business.
He's just gonna stumble inside past them and go into the living area and just.
You just like stumble past and she's like,
sit.
is she all right? Where's Zine?
We're not
I
sure.
don't know, actually.
He kind of walked into the temple. We heard a large falling of coin and something echoing down the hall, but it was dark and we didn't really go in to go find out.
Okay, so good that you didn't go down a dark hall. Interesting that you said temple. Where? And falling. Okay, Okay, sure. He's.
I don't know where.
That's okay. It's all right. You're all safe, though. You're all safe, though, right?
Yes. As far as we know, Zine is safe. My assumption is whatever he found, he took immediately back to his lair.
Oh, silly old blue dragon.
Right.
Arneth!
Ma'am?
I don't care what you're doing. Put it down and come here.
He immediately drops the sword.
You just hear the sound of boom, and then it hits the edge of the stairs and just goes down to the bottom.
No one touched that. And then he'll go.
You watch as a minotaur comes walking up the staircase holding it in his hand, just kind of looking around lost.
Someone drop it.
Good Minotaur, can you take that to the Acadium, please?
He just snorts and nods his head and then turns and starts walking.
We never got his name, did we?
No, we did not.
Well,
Minnow.
maybe next time.
Beefsteak.
We did, but I utterly forgot to write it down.
Beefsteak. All right.
His name is Ham.
Okay.
So one could be able to say he's hoofing it with the sword.
He's
Not
hoofing
bad.
it, yes. All right.
Enough is going.
The sword is taken back to the Acadium. Sirloin, yes.
Ah.
Rose embraces you and congratulates you, but is not boisterous with it. She's very subdued, and she asks you very few questions. She looks at the lot of you and says, the questions can wait. Everyone must go to bed. You look like you're tired. Please rest. And then with that, she and several others usher you to the rooms. And you all rest for the evening. A week passes. A month. Do you guys have a big ceremony? Would you like to give all that back? Zine, have you made your way back to Lanceport?
Yeah. After he did as requested, he would have brought Lucky back with him.
Lucky is in Lanceport, but he looks at you and thanks you for taking him this far. But he declines to go back and see the party. He just mentioned something about having said farewell, and he loves them, but he thinks it's best if he just kind of goes his way. And he would ask that you don't mention anything about him. If that's all right.
If you insist.
In my own time. He books passage across the ocean to a far-flung continent where there's lots of sand and eventually heading to where it's cold. There over the continent, several years later, There's stories of a silver dragon who is benevolent, if not a little bit of a trickster, who protects people and protects the people who live there. The antithesis of all that his previous patron is. He is good and he tries to help those. The last request that he had of you was the true polymorph. Zine, you arrive in time to see the wedding of Arneth and Yenfir. Would you
He's
guys
just-
like to describe any of that?
Yeah,
Zine's
none of
just
this
kind of in the back.
none of this was planned. First of all, I just
Yeah.
threw it in there. Um, so I think they would go for
I
something
should have said
small.
no.
Yeah, can you imagine? Ginter would fucking fling himself off of that goddamn thing. No, probably small. Probably Landsport. With their parents there. All of them, even the shitty ones. And and yeah, just with all their friends around. You know, the temptation, I guess, for Yinfir would be to like make it particularly extravagant, but he knows that isn't really Arnav's style, so he'd keep it small.
All Arnef wants is just a lot of flowers.
Done. Anything for you.
The wedding goes off without a hitch. Rose sees to that, and as much as you would like for it to be small, she does try to make it just a little bit of a big deal. She even reaches out to a particular elf and asks for his appearance. And although he looks a little less shabby than when you last saw him, he stands quietly in the background watching his son get married.
I'm not crying, okay?
Our first thing we do as a married couple is beat up his dad.
Honestly,
Happy
canon.
honeymooning.
Yep.
That's the instead of smashing the glass, it's beat up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Each you give him a punch in the face.
Yeah.
On
All right.
each cheek.
Let's start with Callista and Gillet. Months have passed. Tell me, what happened and what becomes of Callista and Gillet?
Would you like to read it, Steve, or shall I?
Oh, we can take turns when we feel it's appropriate, I suppose.
Well, I guess you get the first part since we go to your parents first.
Indeed. So, they set out immediately for his family home up north. She actually penned a letter home to her parents requesting to meet and where they could send their reply up north where, we could actually receive it. We ended up slaying our beast together as part of the Orcan tradition of consummating their marriage. They got it carefully preserved with magic so it didn't spoil in case it took longer than was originally planned to get up to his home. And Callista wanted to be as far as she could get from the party for a while. Be better all around for the two of them to be spending time away from the rest.
I'm offended.
Knowing each other. What's up?
I'm offended.
Keep going.
Well, as they traveled, she was given a crash course on what she needed to expect from the orc traditions in his family, as well as basics on how to make a good impression with her in-laws. He even started to teach her a little bit of Orcish, as she had taken to teaching him some Infernal. Really, they tried to share as much as they could with each other, and making sure, seeing what they could know, and made sure there were no secrets between them. And as he carried the beast as their proof, she took the rest of their gear, and guilt got tenser the closer they got to home. And once they arrived, they were greeted by some farmhands who some greeted them warmly, some saw who he was with and not quite as warmly. Kind of scowling, but that was to be expected from his goofy farm. His parents were out in the fields, but what's that?
Bumpkin family.
Mm-hmm. His parents were out in the fields, so he spent the time until the end of the day showing her around the farm he'd grown up at. His parents arrived. He introduces them. She was polite. They were polite back, and his dad, Simon, a grouch. Doesn't say much, but he did mention to her that his parents would be fine with who she was, even if the workers were a little tense.
Mm-hmm.
They started sharing their stories. Gillett meets a sister he didn't know he had, but he'd been away for a while, and that's just
As they
extra farm hands.
As it happens.
But yeah, they told the story of how they met, all their troubles, all their fight against Ulmatek, and that they were going to be heading towards the breach, regardless of whether they were going to be getting a response from her parents, since they hadn't received it at that point. Let's see. Oh, would you like to take it from here?
Sure. So they spent about a week at Gillett's parents' farm, with tensions rising between Gillett and his father, which was, of course, a big reason of why he left to begin with.
Mhm.
And then they received a letter from her parents agreeing to meet with them. And they bid Gillett's family farewell before they left for the meeting place with her parents. It took them about 2 weeks to reach the meeting place, and they arrived at about the same time as her and Gillett. Katish and Raez saw their daughter and immediately wrapped her up in a large hug. Callista was happy as she introduced her husband to her parents. They camped at the location for 3 days, informing them of everything that had been going on and giving Gillett a chance to know who her parents were. There was some shock over the fact that she now had tattoos because of the resurrection spell. Her parents weren't happy about her death, but were relieved that it had been resolved anyway. The real question was what
I was dead, but I got over it.
But I got better.
Well, I got better.
The real question was what her and Gillett were going to do now that they had all the time in the world and a decent reward for finishing off Ulmatek. 25 pieces of jewelry that were pretty goddamn fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, each piece of jewelry is worth 2,000 gold.
Gillett wanted to start something that would help the world around him, and Callista didn't mind helping with that either. They settled in the northern part of Kyreth, Gillett starting a foundation that would help teach younger people in the world how to survive on their own. Callista taught others how to draw, paint, and sculpt, as well as how to control their magic if they had any. She taught them how to handle their magic if things go wrong, which she is an expert in. The pair took in those that didn't have anywhere else to go and made their money with their teachings and selling her artwork. A few years later, they were graced with a beautiful child, but for once their life was peaceful, occasionally seeing the others they had traveled with when they came to visit.
Yenfir, Arneth.
Well, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
But I did try to write up a little something super short.
That's fine.
Arnef's epilogue isn't anything special. He and Yenfir take a short break from each other to really spend time with their respective parents without the stress of a titan weighing on their minds. He makes sure to keep in touch with the friends he's met along their journey as well. He and Yenfir eventually choose to settle down outside the city of Lansford, allowing Yenfir easy access to the place he grew up in, and letting Arnef be the wild ranger he's always been. Yenfir wandering more often than not, and Arnef always there to keep his little elf from getting in over his head.
Which is like 90% of the time. But
And that's it.
you're stuck with me now.
Beautiful.
So
That's
I
fantastic.
figure,
Thank you.
yeah, I figured they just settle down. I mean, I thought a lot about Ginfir and how he would live after the final battle, so to speak, and I just cannot. He is not the type. He's over it. He's like, adventuring sucks. Actually, never mind. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go home and hang out with my mom and like get married and I don't
Well, she
know.
works. She works for him officially, or he works for her officially.
This is true. Yeah, so he doesn't need to do anything anymore. Really, he can stay where he's at.
So you
He's
two
got a
settle
9 to
down
5
outside of
job.
Landsport. You
Mhm.
work for mom doing odd jobs here and there, entertaining and vetting people, and basically just things that you need to do around here.
He's the
Mhm.
muscle.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
muscle.
totally.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Grimly. What does Grimly do?
Grimly goes to the one place that he called home after he was separated from his other goblin family. He goes back to the half orc woman that took care of him when he was lost. He goes back to Koira at the Temple of Isis. He stays there for a very long time, asking everyone to visit when they can if they're traveling by. But he tends to the gardens, he helps people as they come by, heals when they're needed. I'm gonna say he probably learned how to swim in that time. Um,
He's real big now.
he's real big. He and to Koira's surprise, he grew, and she's just like,
The fuck are
"What?
you?
Is it
Who?
allowed?
Is that allowed?" Uh, but Grimly visits when he can. Every time he like grows a couple inches, he's like running back to his friends, like, "Look!" and like hand above his head, like, "I'm taller. Look!"
Aww, I love him so much.
So he
But
spends his time
at
there
the
at the temple.
yep, he stays there. He uh is so scared. He's not scared of seeing people die, but seeing the close friends that he had made die at his time really makes him cautious about traveling again, I think. But he stays where he can help, and that is at the temple with Koira.
All right. Lithy.
Okay. All right, I wrote something. And I wrote it in collaboration with Chief. So hold on. My reading glasses. I apologize if this is a little bit long. All right, so stay in Landsport and work her job still at the Silken Sash despite her newfound powers. Though it's really not like her, she does offer all of her friends that if they ever need her assistance with her powers, she is always here. They just need to holler and she will. Um, a very personal interaction with one she came to call her friend, and she started to become closer with Arnath as a good friend. She would like for them to stay in touch each other every once in a while, and they would write to each other often. Nearly like every few days, they would write something to each other. But back up in the city for a while, like a long time. She just mostly lives her life as a free spirit until about, like, it's a big time jump, but maybe about 40 years after
That's fine.
Tech. About 40 years. And years later, a ship docked in Landsport of pirates came and took a break away from the sea and stayed in town. The captain of the ship was a young, strapping half-orc who inherited the ship from his father. He found his way into the Silken Sash, looking to relieve a bit of tension from months of adventure. And his attention was immediately grabbed by the demigoddess. He approached her and he brought her out for the night. Lithy's job, is she just pretends to be in love with the client for as long as they have paid her for. She really was charmed by the captain. And of course he left, but then he couldn't take his mind off of her while he was at sea. So he came back a few weeks later and he would bring her jewelry. Was skeptical, and she'd ask him well, what do you want out of this? And he just says, nothing. I just wanted to bring you a gift. She of course accepted the gift, because she's not going to say no to material. Her if she would like to go out for a drink. She's not really sure about the idea, but as long as he was paying, why does she care? So through the night, over many pints of ale, he tells her stories about being at sea, enthusiastic, and then she asked him what he is called, because she would only call him captain and sailor, and his name is Seal. And he returns back to sea the next day. Forth, he'd come and visit her, he'd give her gifts, and he'd tell her more stories about being out in the ocean. And about 2 years of keeping this up and courting her, he finally asks her if she wants to come out onto the waters with him for 2 weeks, just come for a trip. And she says, you know what? Sure. So she comes out onto the and she's very charmed, and the crew of course is very skeptical of her because she's a fucking whore. And
so eloquent.
Every night she would have sex with him even louder to piss off the rest of the crew. She returned to Lanceport and she realized that for the first time ever she was actually in love. Months after her adventure at sea, she realizes that her clothes are not fitting her quite right. And so she went into town and met a cleric and found out that she had indeed become pregnant. She was terrified because she didn't know how, if it was his, and she remembered that she usually would take a potion before her nights out at work, and she did not have access to those out at the sea. So she, of course, wrote a letter to her good friend, Arneth, and asked him what she should do, and he just simply said, tell him the truth. She told him, and he, of course, and he said that he would stay with her after she had the baby. So after he decided to stay with her, she thanked Rose for the job and for all the time that she had given her, and she quit her job at the Silken Sash. She had a baby, and then a few years later, she had another baby. And yeah, she settled down with the lovely pirate captain in Lanceport, and yeah, she would tell them stories about their father, and whenever her friends needed her. Oh, I forgot one important detail. So after she had her first baby, Arneth telling her that she had her first baby, and she received some very. This is many years later that she had lost Arneth. So in memorial of him, she named the baby after him. That's my wholesome redemption arc.
Oh.
Aww.
And last but not least, Xenalgos.
Mhm. It would be a good 10 years. No one has heard from their dragon friend since the battle. Before everybody gets a letter that asks them all to meet at the Silken Sash. And this is going to be something I'm going to roleplay with you all. So,
Oh.
Oh, okay. Hello, I'm here.
10 years later?
about 10 years later, yeah.
Okay.
Oh God.
We're like super married by then.
Super unmarried.
I feel weird. I'm 15.
But even Rose would get one tell her to leave the building closed for the day.
She does as you request.
And once everyone's
First time in forever.
once everyone's there, a portal will open in the room.
Like Doctor Strange does.
Yeah, pretty much. And Zine will walk out. He looks a bit more buff than he used to be. There's
thought you were
numerous
gonna say
scars. No, there's numerous scars
He just
that
let
are
himself
on the exposed portions of his skin now,
Mhm.
and half of his hair has gone like shock white, and both of his eyes are permanently stuck in their draconian gold form now.
Mm.
He'll just walk out, hand resting on the cane that he uses to walk, and he looks at everyone and said, "It's good to see all of you again."
Well, you've aged well.
I was gonna say poorly.
We don't
Well.
say that, Arnett.
Well, I finally finished the shift of my kind. I am now considered ancient among my species. It's to be
Well, you
expected.
look great.
Thank you. I needed some time to recover. Taking the brunt of the damage from a god is not something one recovers from easily.
I would say I can't imagine, but I imagine that's an understatement.
It took a good 6 years to fully recover from the injuries, and even then, he sort of lifts the cane. I still need this to walk in my humanoid forms now.
You look dapper.
Thank you.
It is
He'll
good
look
to
at
see.
everyone. Yes. But in my time away, I have been making some arrangements for all of you.
I don't
He'll look at
know.
Rose and say, "And for you as well. Would you all take a walk with?"
Sir.
I
10
suppose.
years at 15, I would say he's like 5.5 feet tall.
He'll look at Grim and he's like, "I'm not sure I can call you little one anymore, can I?"
I think I'm still little compared to most of the people here.
He'll walk over, he'll ruffle Grimly's hair. "Well, in comparison to my true form, you'll always be my little one."
Oh, I'm not crying.
That was sweet.
And he will leave. Hoping everyone will follow.
Rose links her arm, pats his arm, and says, "I think you look rather distinguished." She just
Well, thank
smiles
you.
as she walks.
And you look as beautiful as always.
Blame that on the elf.
Me growling in the
Well.
back.
Well, then I guess I can
Arnoth
blame
is
the
holding his
distinguish.
leash.
Let's say I guess I can blame the distinguishment on the dragon.
Callista is
And he-
carrying a 3-year-old half orc, half tiefling.
The cutest baby alive.
He
I can
is.
officially
He's
hold a
got.
child.
He's got little horns that are starting to grow.
I have a very
Nice.
important question.
Hmm.
What color is he?
He's pink.
Okay.
A cute
Tusks
little
and
pink
horns.
baby.
He
Yeah,
he has
tusks.
tusks and the horns.
But he will lead them
And
through
a right
Lanceport.
hand made out of rock. No.
Stone knuckles. No, he will lead them through Lanceport, just walking along a familiar path to a point until they get back to that mansion that they were at before. It's been completely torn down and remade. It's much larger than before. The grounds have a whole bunch of servants keeping an eye on things, gardeners, the whole works.
Oh look, he got
He'll-
rosy oil.
He will.
How do you think they demolished the house?
Oh yeah, if Calista says that out loud, he just goes, "How do you think I demolished the house?"
He didn't even let me set it on. I didn't get to set it
You
on fire.
can't have everything. You're domestic now. You're not allowed to have fun anymore.
You're
He will-
domestic too.
He will open the gate with the cane and lead them all inside. Say, I've spent the last 10 years working through intermediaries making this place possible. There's alchemy labs, libraries, pretty much anything any of you will need. All I need from each of you is a drop of your blood. And
what?
Sorry, what?
whenever you need it, whenever you wish to, there will be a permanently active portal here. And you can stay here whenever you desire. Consider this your second home, if you wish it, as my home is now open to you.
I'm honored.
That's
Yes.
so kind. Thank you.
He'll take a drop from everybody who allows it, and he'll key them in.
Arnaf will do it if he.
You know me and impulses, of course.
10
I'm already
years,
pricking
he's
my
learned.
fingers. No,
And he'll stop. He'll face the party again, and he'll look at Rose. Say, and for you especially, you may live here as long as you wish.
She holds her hand up.
He'll take it, and as he takes that drop of blood and puts it away and keys the signal, he'll turn her hand over, and he'll put a ring on her ring finger.
oh, fuck it.
Yes!
It's better than the last proposal I received.
Especially
I would
since
say yes.
if you say yes, this place is yours, as well as that is key directly to my true home.
Oh.
If you join with me, to a point, of course, you may share in its wealth.
Xenagos,
Yes,
you do know I'm not a materialistic person.
I'm aware. But you know what my nature
am.
is. That is the first thing I think of.
Your company is all I need. And with that, she stands up on her tiptoes and kisses him on the cheek. I accept.
Oh my god, could Grimly officiate this wedding? Like after 10 years, he suddenly knows that spell now.
10 years he's in the full priesthood. And he's like,
Yeah.
got that hassock on.
He still eats
With the
flowers, though.
big- Yeah,
Sorry.
he's still got a lizard. Like,
Still eats flowers and butterflies.
he's
Delicacies.
still got a pouch full of mud.
Just every once in a while.
No,
Yeah.
it's holy mud at this point. He's just started consecrating it, and it's holy
Fantastic.
mud.
Right.
Yeah,
He's just carrying consecrated ground with him everywhere.
it's the holy dip. It's the holy dip.
We're fighting a vampire. I got it covered. Just slings mud at him. Here's a facial. All right.
But as
Thea,
Yeah, after-
no, you cannot do that in Curse of Strahd.
God damn it! Grimly's not
after
there.
all
It's
of
fine.
that, Zine will stay in Lanceport, and he will live there for the remainder of his years. He will
Rose.
watch, with Rose until she passes, or unless she wishes to take part in true polymorph and become a dragon like him.
Do not
She
leave my mother
declines.
alone.
She declines, but she lives out the remainder of her years, turning the silken sash over to her son, whom she has groomed carefully over the years to run the business.
Hmm.
Her hair is silver as she lays in a beautiful dress of a gown of silver and blue, and closes her eyes, a smile on her face. Long life and all the troubles well spent for the children that she had, that she knew, that came into her life, and the husband that she spent the rest of her.
And as Zion promised, after she passes, he will fly north. He will leave the mansion to Yenfir and his descendants. And he will settle down and become the guardian of Callista and Gillet's lineage.
Blue dragon lineage. And
For
unless
as long
anyone
as-
else, go ahead.
For as long as their lineage remains there, he will protect them until his final days, when he flies back to his lair, and he will die in peace amidst all that. And in his lair, in a place of honor at the top of his pile, there are busts that he made of each of the members of the party that he traveled with.
Aww.
And he will, as he lays down before closing his eyes, he'll just look at each one of them. He'll say, "Mortals like you made this life worth it." And he'll just close his eyes and just pass away into sleep.
Aw.
I said this before we came on air, and I will say this, that no matter how bad my week was, or the weekend, or my day, Monday nights were always fantastic, and are always fantastic, thanks to the friends that I had and played with. While we draw this game to a close, know that we will be back. New characters, new faces, at least as far as the characters go. It has been an absolute joy to watch these characters grow. Some new, some old, have been with me since the start. And it has been an absolute pleasure to be the DM to all of you. I love you guys. And everybody watching, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. And while we say sign off from Foundations of Adalar for time, I will say that we will be back. We'll take a little bit of a hiatus as we get things together for the upcoming game. We will do a session 0, and I would record it as well as the first session. I would like to make sure that those of you who support us as patrons, will have access to that video at session 0. We sit down and talk about ground rules and things like that. We love you guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. Don't forget that we do have a Discord. You can join and chat with us, ask us questions about the characters, our prologues, epilogues, everything else like that. Feel free to support us. We love anything, but having you just chilling out with us, tell these stories, is enough for me. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And once more, we have V, who played Grimly. We have Eric, who played Zion. Chief playing Arneth. Molly, who was playing Lithy. We had Steve playing Gillet. Maddie was playing as Callista. And even though not on camera, with us still, we had Jack, who was playing Yenfir. A huge shout out to Larry for joining us one last time as Aj. And I had another surprise, so I'll tell you now, but it kind of fell apart. Lucky was supposed to be, but unfortunately we couldn't get Ryan. But know that we love you, Ryan. If you're watching out there, if you catch this, we miss you, and we hope to have you at our team once more. This is Heath, a.k.a. the Direbear GM, a.k.a. Captain Sack, signing off one last time for Foundations of Adalar. We'll be back again tomorrow night with Captain Paragon, who will be running Esper Genesis. That's Jason, Wednesday. have our Wednesday night showcase. Thursday, Maddie will be versus Strahd. Until next time, love you guys. Thank you so much for being with us. Take care of yourselves.
Before we sign off,
Mhm.
Cap, you say that you can't do this without us, but
Mhm.
you know, we as players wouldn't have a campaign without you. Your storytelling is absolutely phenomenal. It's always a treat. You bring life to our own characters, let alone your NPCs. You put us in situations where we have to make hard decisions, or we have to make decisions that have arrestable consequences. So without you, Cap, none of this would be possible. So thank you for being the DM, and thank you for running this story week in and week out. And we are all very much looking forward to the next session. I know I am. My character's already made.
Yeah, so was mine.
So,
One thing I wanted to say too is thank you for letting me join. Because I know it was like super late in this campaign, but this is one of the things I look forward to the most during the week is to be able to sit here and play with all of you and just to make a story and just have fun and enjoy it.
Good.
And you all are amazing. And I am so very glad that I was given the opportunity to join and continue to stay.
For sure,
Well,
it was like
glad you
a
did.
Before I
Huge
actually
fun.
lose it,
that's okay. I
I'm
was
not
crying.
crying. You're
During...
crying.
Oh my god, I was
Everyone,
crying
shut up!
during
Everybody
hearing
loves
the thing.
everybody.
Fuck. All right,
it's a love
sorry,
fest.
but
in here.
yes, we will sign off. We will see you all tomorrow night for Esper Genesis.
Yeah.
Be good to
Have a
one
good night,
another,
guys.
and remember,
Absolutely.
roar for initiative.
Woo!
Goodbye, everybody.